But I feel like we have two storylines. Who's going to make the college football playoff and which coach is getting fired?
Podcasting for the masses and I'm coming correct.
Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Bullseye Review. I am the host with the most, Keith Bulluck, but today I ride shotgun with my man Nas Cook. Today, I'm bringing in a special guest. Since college football playoff brackets just came out, I'm bringing in my college football analyst, ESPN analyst. You ain't know I had one of those, huh?
I didn't, man.
My really good friend, Rocky Boiman. What's up, Rocky? Oh, I have to also say, he is a Notre Dame graduate.
Bad time.
I'll try to keep the Notre Dame bias to a minimum, fellas, but thanks for having me on.
Well, first and foremost, I just want to ask how you feel about Notre Dame choosing not to play in the bowl game. And at first I was like, oh, that's some bullshit. But I remember when I was a senior, we had an option to play in the Music City Bowl. And that's after playing in the Orange Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl back-to-back years. It's my senior year. I'm not trying to go to the Music City Bowl. I'm trying to get ready for the drafts. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we ended up playing in the Music City Bowl. And it was cool, whatever. The seniors that don't get to play football anymore, they got their last game, and, you know, we moved on. What are your thoughts about Notre Dame not taking a bowl game?
Yeah, it's really a conversation, Keith, about kind of the way I see it, like the old way of doing things versus this new way of how things are done in college football. Like, you know, back when it was just, you know, there was a BCS and somebody got it was, you know, they're the national championship and there were some bowls and, you know, the bowls mattered more. I thought it was a great system, but as I say all the time, you know, and I work for ESPN, but I feel like we have two storylines. Who's going to make the college football playoff and which coach is getting fired? Those are like our two main things that we talk about. So all this weight is now on the college football playoff. And again, look, I guess that's what the fans want, right? You got to go with kind of what the fans and the people that consume the product want. So any of these other games don't hold as much weight. And I just think for Notre Dame, I think they're saying we should be playing in this national championship game, and we're not. So do the kids do they want to play in this? I don't know if they necessarily do. And again, if this were a different world where some of these bowls and conference title games mattered more, it'd be one thing. But now it's all college football playoff. And you're seeing many other schools are opting out of these bowls as well.
Definitely. I appreciate you, coming on, Rocky. It's great to meet you. But what are your thoughts? A lot of people are saying that, you know, Notre Dame has to join a conference. Do you feel like Notre Dame should join a conference or should they still remain independent?
Yeah, I think they should remain independent because I think it makes them different. And as long as the money they're getting paid by NBC is more than whatever a conference would give them,
right,
I think they'll stay. You could make a little bit more of an argument now with how things worked out here about, okay, if they're in the ACC, do they have the opportunity to play in the ACC title game, which would give them a berth in the game? I can see that side now. I think things are really going to have to be looked at hard with that. I've always been a big proponent of staying independent, but you know, I think it also depends on what does this playoff stay at? Does it stay at 12 teams? Does it go to 14? Right. Does it go to 16? I think if it goes to 14 or more, I think you'd still stay independent, and as long as, again, the money you're getting is at the level that you need it to be.
Yeah, I think personally that more teams should be added because then you get more opportunity. I mean, if there's a top 25, we do a top 25 every year, why wouldn't you have the top 25 teams compete? Maybe the top 12 get that first round bye, in the back half they have to play, you know, however that works, that's for them to figure out.
Let me butt in real quick on that. So everybody, when it was 4 teams, it was a big mix of Florida State not getting in. And then now we have 12 teams. So I feel like every time we expand it, we're always going to run into this issue. The whole group of 5 conference thing, it might have to go. Because you take your 5 conference champions, and then that leaves basically the best teams out. You have BYU, you have Notre Dame, you have Vandy on the outside, but you have James Madison and Tulane in. So I don't know if we're going to continue to expand it, but if the committee doesn't come together and figure out the exact framework for the best teams to get in, I don't think it matters if we expand it or not. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Rocky?
Yeah, to your point, there's 12 teams in now, and people are arguing for who the 13th and 14th team should be in. And then when they go to 14, it'll be the 15th and 16th. It'll never end. When really, if we're being honest with ourselves, there's probably about 6 schools that really can win a national title, right?
Yeah.
So I on one hand, you like the fact that a group of 5 team gets in. On the other hand, you go, how's a two group of 5 teams playing in Notre Dame and Vanderbilt and some of these schools are sitting at home when, Notre Dame, if it was ranked right now, I bet you they would have the number 3 odds to win the national championship, but they're out.
You mentioned Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia. I think he should win the Heisman. I know a lot of people around the country haven't seen him play, but last year, obviously, he jumped on the scene with Vanderbilt. This year, he has Vandy playing good. Mid-season, they're like he's not doing enough, and I feel like he turned up even more. Won the big game at Tennessee, but at the same time, some other teams won games that they needed to win. So I don't care about Vandy making the brackets or not, but my question for you, Rocky, is have you seen enough of Diego Pavia to maybe say he is a better Heisman front runner than Mendoza at Indiana?
Yeah, well, I had Vanderbilt Georgia State at Vanderbilt early this season, and I feel like I'm not patting myself on the back, but I feel like I was one of the first people to say this guy deserves a Heisman look just because of the unconventional, exciting way that he plays, and now here we are. I actually get an official Heisman vote, so I can't tell you who I'd vote for, but
I'll call you later.
I love Mendoza. A few of those guys are in there. I think he deserves strong consideration, especially in a year when there's not that dominant, blue chip 5-star quarterback kind of guy, right? It's just it's not that guy doesn't exist. So why not? I mean, you talk about if you look at the Heisman as the MVP, he can make a great case that he is certainly the MVP of that team. And without him, they got a great team otherwise, but. He is the stir that or the straw that stirs the drink down there. So I think he certainly should get very strong consideration for it.
Another person in my head is from your alma mater, Jeremiah Love. I first want to talk to you. What have you ever seen a prospect like that? Coming out of Notre Dame first off, and then 2, do you think he should get that Heisman ceremony? Invite. I know he probably might not win it. It's honestly a QB award. But what are your thoughts on Jeremiah Love as a prospect?
I think he certainly should get invited. Again, same thing. Without that year where there's that dominant quarterback, there's no Joe Burrow, there's no Cam Newton, right? There's it's a little bit diluted from that standpoint. So if there's ever a year, I think give it to one of the best and most exciting players in college football, and that's Jeremiah Love. That guy. You talk about all the tools and, the ability to run with power, the ability to break tackles, the ability to jump cut and be elusive. I thought, him and Jaden Ball, the running back for Florida, were the 2 best running backs in college football. And I'd give the nod to Love just because, he's got the breakaway speed and, an absolute phenomenal player. I think he certainly should be at the ceremony.
Definitely. Rock, I know you got a hard out, but I wanted to ask you this last question. Why did Notre Dame beat the shit out of Syracuse like that, bro? Why you do us like that, bro? What's going on?
Style points, man. We're trying to,
So style on somebody else.
I know, man. Look, Notre Dame didn't, and look, one of the reasons, and again, even as a Notre Dame grad, I agree, they didn't have the schedule resume compared to some of the other schools. So Marcus Freeman's looking at it like,
gotta do what you gotta do.
Points. Yeah,
shit. Maybe if they put 100 up on Syracuse, they'd be in. Come on, Fran, we gonna get right. Hey, what are your thoughts, real quick, on? I don't know if you've had a call the Syracuse game, but what are your thoughts on Fran Brown up at Syracuse?
I think he's done a great job. Last year was obviously better than this year. I'll tell you a great move he just made. As he hired Vince Karras as his new defensive coordinator. So I've called Toledo games like during midweek match, and I'd call some of those midweek games in November for the past however many years, and I've called a bunch of Toledo games, and that guy is one of the best in the business. Plays a lot of quarters, a lot of 9 guys in the box, but he really knows what he's doing. So a great move by Fran by hiring Vince Karras.
Word, it's great to hear. Cuse Nation, we got a good one. Hey man, Rocky Boiman, thanks for coming on, sharing some of your insight. ESPN college football analyst, former teammate, NFL 8-year veteran, all the above, all around great fucking guy. Thanks, Rock.
Appreciate you, Rocky.
Thank you, guys.
All right, moving on from college to the pros. Titans get a big win this week.
Big up.
Come on now. They beat the Browns. Okay, still the Browns, but hey, a win is a win. A win is a win. I called it. Man, it might have been the toilet bowl. No, I'm saying I'm calling it maybe the toilet bowl, maybe for the first round pick. But hey, great job, Titans. I seen a lot from Cam, and it was eerily similar. One of the plays that went viral right now, we'll pull it up. Cam Ward stiff arms a defender into the dirt, straight up, just grown man.
Little ass DB, little ass boy.
But anyways, Steve McNair-esque for real. So I think Cam Ward, like we said 3 weeks ago, give him time. Yeah. Give him time. But also who surprised us too was Shedeur. That's a whole different conversation though. 364 yards and all that. But hey, I remember what you said about the Titans O-line. Hopefully they seen that video last week.
Shout out to the Titans O-line. Shout out to the Titans defense. I mean, shout out to the Titans period. I did have Myles Garrett set to break the record this past weekend.
You had him at the over.
I had him at the over. And like I also like an analogy that I kind of had in my head. It's like, look, you pitch to Barry Bonds, he's going to hit a home run.
Right.
You don't got to let him hit 4 home runs.
Yep,
you know what I'm saying?
True.
So, Myles Garrett got his 1 sack. He got up to 20, but Big Jeff was the best defensive player on the field on Sunday. Mm-hmm. Big Jeff is doing a great job of being a leader. I want to give a shout out to the Titans offensive line and Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard ran for 162. But that's because the Titans offensive line had push, and they were able to get hat on a hat. On those 2 touchdown runs, you'll see everybody from the Browns, there was a blocker from the Titans on him. Tony Pollard only had to make someone miss and or beat him to the end zone. Mm-hmm. I think that was great. And then you take pressure off of your rookie quarterback, right?
That was huge.
You look at Shedeur. He passed for 362, but he's also in an offense that allows him to do that. He also has a veteran in Jerry Jeudy. He also has a veteran in Ndoku. So those 2 players definitely were factors in this game.
2 different situations, huh?
Yeah, 2 totally different situations. And honestly, it was a win, I think, for both players. Obviously, Cam got the real win. That's what counts more. But it was a win for Shedeur Sanders in the sense that he put the whole NFL on an alert.
Put him on notice.
You got people talking like they've been talking, and it's pretty evident that the Browns they don't have the best interest for Shedeur Sanders, in my opinion.
We seen that with the 2-point play. What are your thoughts on that, man? If say you're Myles Garrett, you want to win a game.
I would have cussed Jeff Fisher out. I probably would have cussed. Jeff. Yeah, Jeff or whoever the offense coordinator is, they catching some heat.
Because it looked like Judkins didn't know what to do with the ball. May have been a gaffe on his part.
That was a dumbass play.
You got to have the quarterback on the field, right?
Look, man, the Browns are down 31-17 with a little over 4 minutes left. Shedeur Sanders made plays to put them back in position to be down 1 touchdown. Then they get the ball back with a little over 2 minutes left, and he drives all the way down for the score, and you need a 2-point conversion for the tie. So Kevin Stefanski said we didn't get the 2-point conversion before. There was a fumbled snap, and I guess he's putting that, wherever the blame goes, he didn't put blame. He said we didn't get it before. Mm-hmm. So now he wanted to try something different. He took responsibility as a head coach. Kevin Stefanski is a 2-time coach of the year.
Yeah.
How? The Cleveland Browns are ass. Granted, they made the playoffs with Baker and, had those runs, but how? Brian Daboll was coach of the year, last year or 2 years? Where is he now? No job. Hey, You don't want to get that coach of the year. That's just fugazi.
That's like the Madden curse.
It's the Madden curse.
So do you think that Shedeur has done enough for the Brown scouts to move on with him? Because they're going to have a top 5 pick. So what is stopping the Browns from drafting a Mendoza or Dante Moore from Oregon? Do you think Shedeur kind of solidified with that 360-yard game?
If I'm Shedeur Sanders, I don't want to play for the Cleveland Browns.
Oh,
Shedeur Sanders, unfortunately, has to play the game that the NFL is trying to play with him. But the thing is, when you're raised with mental toughness and you've been through adversity and you've seen things and you've kind of been forewarned about how they're going to come at you, how they're going to attack you. You listen to even the way the media ask Shedeur questions. They put him in a position to try and throw his coaches under the bus, but Shedeur never falls for it. So, it's one of those things. Who cares what the Browns do, because they don't have the best interest in Shedeur Sanders. And until they show that they have at least a little interest in his development and becoming a pro and on their team, I just feel for him. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. But I just know that the Browns don't have him in their best interest.
Definitely. And how much do you think there's like a narrative that the media is trying to build around Shedeur? Of course, we got the whole, the black quarterback debate, and, Shedeur's arrogant. He's a rapper. Is he focused on the field, as he is off the field? So what are your thoughts on like this whole media narrative that they're trying to build around him? And he keeps dodging. And finding a way.
Well, look, I don't know why they just don't let him be himself. Everybody else gets to be themselves in the NFL, but they want to kind of put a leash, I guess, so to speak, on Shedeur Sanders. And the kid is doing nothing but going out and doing his job. The media was putting the camera in his face as a third-string quarterback all the way in the, before OTAs and all of these different things. So, it's all a setup. Dylan Gabriel had plenty of opportunity. He started 6 games, and he never had, with the same offense, and never had production like that. So it's pretty evident that, there's some type of bullshit going on. I would even say collusion, that Shedeur got drafted in the 5th round. I always say that, I was never a part of that conversation. But now, at this point of the season, when I watched him play a full game against the Tennessee Titans, he was accurate, made the right decisions a lot of time. Also, he's also a rookie. So rookies are going to make mistakes. Those things are going to happen. But he played better than just about every rookie.
He was slinging it in the snow. He was in the snow with
elements,
it too. Come on now.
Elements. So he's playing better than just about every rookie, including the Titans' 1st-round draft pick.
Yeah. So I just hope that, the league, or Shedeur put the league on notice that he is a starting caliber quarterback, and we'll see what happens with that. That was a data point, definitely, that he showed on Sunday. All right, now we've seen the Texans beat the Chiefs. The dynasty has fallen, it looks like, in Kansas City.
Dun, dun, dun.
Travis Kelce gave up that, it was on his fault. He had the drop at the end, but Patrick Mahomes isn't playing to his standard. Everybody wants to say it might be the offensive line, but it looks like the Chiefs don't have any playmakers, So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that's exactly what it is. The Chiefs don't have any playmakers. Travis Kelce went soft ever since he stopped spiking his hair.
He got the Swift. He went to Swifty. He a billionaire now. He good. He don't need it no more.
Then move on. Move on. You know what I mean? Go do what you got to do. But, shoot, you said it earlier. They were hitting out there last night. Once Petrie fired Rice up,
Rice got rocked. But that felt like, to me, I hadn't seen like a game like that in a minute. It felt like when you was playing, like they were hitting all night, and it was the Chiefs too. It was like great form tackles, all that. So anybody that says football is dead, turn on that game, and it looks like we back live.
Yeah, they definitely were live. But I felt like Patrick Mahomes was running for his life. Not necessarily, but running in a way to try and make something happen. There was nothing downfield for him. You spoke about Kelce. Players get older. They get different interests. You wouldn't be surprised if this is Kelce's last year. They were even talking about his play declining last year, but they won. He made plays when they needed to be made. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it all unfolds. I remember when I was playing for the Titans, we in 2002, Rocky Boiman's rookie year, we went to the AFC Championship game. The next year, we win the division again. We go 12-4. We lose to New England in like negative 13 temperatures, whatever it was. And then the following year is when you can see it kind of falling apart. And then what happens from there, Steve McNair is gone. Eddie George is gone. Samari Rolle is gone. Derek Mason is gone. Brad Hopkins is gone. Kevin Carter, like, you know what I mean? I'm the only one standing around looking like, where all the homies go?
You look like Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Where everybody at?
Where the homies?
Yeah.
So that's what it looks like. And then I've been a part of a rebuild, you know. Then part of that rebuild was, you know, drafting Pac-Man Jones. We got Bo Scaife. You bring in Kevin Mawai, David Thornton, Chris Hope. You got your, you know, Vince Youngs, you know, a bunch of people that came in. CJ2K, Michael Griffin, Cortland Finnegan. So you gotta, and I was a centerpiece, right? Like I was a centerpiece on the O-line. We had some guys. They drafted Michael Ruse, and you know, some other younger guys, and that's when Kevin Mawai kind of came in and kind of took over as the leader in that group.
And I feel like, you know, with this whole Chief, this is like a pivotal season for them. Like, this is clearly a downturn. You just talked about it a little bit, but was there a specific season where you were like, man, like we're kind of going on the down, or you not even realizing you took your pads off after a playoff game, after the last regular season game of like, man, we might have missed our window. So talk to me about whatever season that was, and what did that feel like? Could you sense it in the locker room? You know, so what was going through your mind with that?
So, you know, early in my career, I wouldn't have noticed it, you know, once Steve and Eddie and all, like, because I thought it was going to be like this forever. Like, you know,
coming in hot.
You know, we go to the playoffs. All right, we missed a year, but then we got 2 playoff seasons in a row. But then when they break the team down, it gets kind of crazy. And like I said, I didn't really realize what was happening. So the 2008 year when we lost to the 9, I believe, when we went 13-3, we lost to the Ravens here. After the game, I was pissed. We only played like 33 snaps on defense. I'm going up the hall.
Time of possession has been crazy.
Crazy, man. I'm going up the tunnel, smashing the gates. Yo, she was crazy.
Was it a home game?
Hit this, Home game? Almost hit this lady that was in the tunnel with my helmet because I threw my helmet up there. I was pissed because, you know, it's so hard to get to the playoffs. It's so hard to get to the playoffs. We had the first round bye, playing at home, and we squandered it. You know, we squandered it. So in the locker room, I remember one of my teammates telling me, "Oh, calm down. We got next year." Like, I'm in year 9. I'm like, yo, every year ain't the same. That's what I loved about the NFL. As an individual, you got to prove yourself every year. But as a team, it's hard to be on this exact same page. You know, every team ain't the same. So we come back that next year. We start off 0-6. But we almost turned it around. I think we finished off 8-8 or 7-9, however it worked. We won 7 games in a row. That's the year I blew out my ACL. I really believe if I didn't get hurt, you know, we definitely would have beat the Chargers on Christmas night.
Gotcha. All right, this week, X versus Z. Have you ever been to Mount Vernon, Keith?
Mount Vernon, New York?
Yeah, New York.
Money Earning, of course I have.
Yeah.
I grew up near Money Earning.
That's around where you were growing up in, right? And all that. You used to hang. Let me ask you this, man. You ever been to a Diddy party up in there? Because the reason why I asked, okay, we all seen or I haven't seen it actually. I thought it was the Netflix documentary. 50 Cent put it out. I remember, like, I seen it come across, and I was like, man, I'm not watching that. 50, come on.
Why not?
50, the biggest troll out there, man. 50 done ended Ja Rule's career and all that. Like, why am I watching that? I thought it was gonna be a slander fest, you know. But apparently, it's a good documentary. But you ever been to one of them Diddy parties? What was it like over there?
You funny, you got jokes. Never been to a Diddy party.
Yeah.
But I've been to a Puffy party.
So
been to a Puffy party.
What's
it's
the
two
difference?
different things. You all look. In my opinion, So on Monday nights, back in the day, Puffy owned Justin's on 21st. So everybody in there, most players on the East Coast in the NFL, you would go to Justin's on Monday, then you walk across the street for Slate. So, that's Puffy's establishment. He would be there. So that's a Puffy party. And everybody in New York knows that Puff used to throw the best parties. Like, Puff used to throw dope parties. That being said, even at a Puffy party, at 2, 3 o'clock, we scooping, scoring, going home. Like, ain't trying to go nowhere else. No extracurricular. Now I feel like Diddy came to life when I feel he hit that billionaire status. When the Ciroc, he moved to the whole LA thing. I feel like that happened when he hit that status. And I did actually watch the documentary. I wasn't going to, kind of like the same reason. I'm not watching this bullshit. Yeah. But then my nephew, KJ, what up, Junior, was like, yo, Unc, you might need to check it out. I'm like, man, I'm cool. Then my brother, Smitty, what up, Smith? His father was like, nah, it's nostalgia from the music, the dress, so it kind of, for us, it kind of takes us back to different spaces. And to be honest, I thought it was very well put together because it wasn't necessarily slander, in my opinion. I felt like it just kind of gave you an overview of who Sean Combs was, the activities he participated in, and so on and so forth. But you got to see it for yourself. Out of a 10, I give it a 7.5. I'm not gonna hold you
on a documentary. It was like 30 for 30-esque.
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
Yeah, for sure.
How many parts was it?
It's 4.
4?
It's 4.
All right, I'm so tap in,
you got time. You know what? Maybe we'll talk about it next week. We'll talk about it next week so I can get your perspective. But it did that for me personally. Answer some questions that I may have had just like kind of growing up, and also just put away some thoughts that I had too. So
okay. So you said Puffy and Diddy are two totally different people.
To me, I don't know the man personally, but definitely late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, Puffy had it going on. He was doing his thing.
Does it get into his like family background too?
All of that, man. All of that. It would be good for a young man like yourself to check out, man, and kind of see how.
Because it gives you background on like the hip hop wave too, with like Pac and Biggie too.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, get some knowledge. Word. Get some knowledge, young man.
Podcasting for the masses, and I'm coming correct.